Hello, everybody. I'm John Locke, and I'd like to welcome you to the LockeInYourSuccess.com Trading Performance Podcast, where it's all about real traders, real problems, and real coaching. Listen up and enjoy the segment. Why am I stressed about my trading? Because we do have the way that our brains work is they work on different, basically, thought maps and feeling maps. So, as an example, if you were really happy and having a really good day and somebody bumped into you and they said and they called you an asshole, you'd probably be like, yeah, whatever, right? But if you're having a really bad day and you're stressed out and someone bumps into you, calls you an asshole, you might just hit them, right? So,
Right. Snap.
right. You're on two completely different thought maps, and you're seeking out different information, and you're paying attention to different information, and you're filtering it in different ways and making different things the same thing mean something different.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have to realize that we have different thought maps, and if you're getting stressed out, you're on a certain thought map, and your mind's going to start ruminating on all kinds of different things, and that's when you go back to your mindfulness practice, and understanding that, hey, I can't be making decisions right now.
Right.
And sometimes your better decision is just to close the trade out and move on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's whether you're up money, down money, or whatever.
Right.
And that's from a mindfulness perspective.
Yeah. I mean, that was something that definitely cropped up like more than once during that time. And now I will know to do it, having had the experience.
And that problem can come from within trading too. You're going along, everything's working fine, you think you've made it. Okay, so first of all, as soon as you think you've made it because you've won for 3 or 4 months in a row, that in itself is neurological arousal the other way, right?
Yes.
So as soon as you start forgetting that trading is a game of chance and trading is a game of luck, then that's when you've got something going on in your brain that may not be beneficial to you. So you'll always want to be able to take a look at the other side of the story. Right. So it's once you get like 5 or 6 results in a certain positive thing, you tend to think that it's going to continue to go that way. Natural human, it's natural for you to do that. And understanding that it's natural for us to do that, we can say, oh, I've won 5 or 6 times. It's natural for me to just say, I'm going to keep winning. But I always have to play out in my mind the losing trade. And when you do that, you also want to experience it. So, and this helps with position sizing. In other words, if I enter this trade at this size, so I've just won 5 trades in a row, I'm pretty excited. I want to triple my trading size. Okay, this is normal, right? Because now I'm like super confident. First of all, I recognize I'm overconfident. Oh, that's interesting. Right. Second of all, I need to play out in my mind and literally play it out, losing whatever the loss I'm risking. Right. So if I have an exit loss trigger of $5,000, play it out in my mind and see what I'm going to feel like afterwards. Because you're not just dealing with financial capital, you're dealing with emotional capital.
I think it's a big takeaway for me out of this, right? It's like I kind of felt at the time that, yes, I know I'm prone to overconfidence. Yes, I know I felt that, right? And in a sense, like, there's one part of me which just sort of almost wanted to say, look, shut it all down and take a few months until you like calm down or something. And probably that's what I should have done. Looking back on it now, I know like that's going to be alarm bells ringing of like, take a break.
It's fine if you don't understand why you're losing trades. It's fine to take a step back and say, why am I losing trades? Right. And the same thing if you're winning. Just take a step back and say, why am I winning? So
that's a good point.
You got into your winning streak, and you take a step back and say, why am I winning? It's not because you found the magic set of rules that's going to win for now and never into the future, which is what your mind thinks.
Right.
Okay. Your mind will throw that at you. But that's not the reason. You have to remind yourself. That's not the reason. The reason I'm winning is because I'm playing a bullish strategy and the market's going up like crazy. So when the market starts going up, how do I identify that? And how am I going to adapt to it? Right. And you put your confidence in yourself. And your abilities to understand when the market's going up, when it's not, when the strategy is going to work well, when it's not, and what to do when things change. if you do that, like most traders are going to try and put confidence in the strategy. Oh, I have this indicator that's worked for the last 10 times. Now I can be confident in that indicator. But the reality is the indicator is only matching up with the market environment at a given time. Or a rule set's only matching up with a market environment at a given time. And there's a time when it's not going to do it anymore. And the problem is when you put your confidence in the indicator and that indicator stops working, your confidence gets crushed.
Yeah.
Right? Right? And then you're position sizing according to your confidence.
Yeah.
Right? And that goes back into the whole cycle. But if you have the confidence level in yourself, you don't get crushed. You don't get that confidence crush. You don't get that, first of all, you don't get that big confidence buildup when you win because the confidence level is appropriate, right? And then when you get that, get that crush, you don't get that confidence crush, meaning that you can maintain a more reasonable position size on the way up, and you can maintain your larger position size when you're starting to have a hard time, and as you transition into something else. Which is what you really need to do.
I don't think I'd fully realized the dangers there. Yeah. No, I hear you. I think makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. And again, it's one of these like differences between intellectual understanding. Like I'd heard you say all this before. I was well aware of it. To experience it firsthand and go through it. And it's now about coming out the other side and reflecting and saying, okay, I've heard it. Now I've experienced it. Now what do I do?
Your unconscious mind is not going to believe me, and it's not going to believe you.
Nope.
Right. So you just have to realize that, hey, this is what's going to happen. And that is what I have for you today. If you have any questions or comments or anything else you'd like to see in the next Trading Performance podcast, please list that in the comments and I'll personally answer your questions and comments for you. Also, I'd love to encourage you to come on over to lockeinyoursuccess.com. That's LOCKE in yoursuccess.com, and check out our Trading Performance and Pro memberships, where you can find the tools you need to become a much more effective trader, regardless of the type of trading you do. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to seeing you on the next Trading Performance podcast.